Dear FromSoftware, please develop an HD remake of Armored Core Trilogy. If you people know what I'm talking about, they're the first three original Armored Core games that were exclusive for the PS1, the original PlayStation. Yes, I'm asking for a remake, not remaster, remake. Armored Core was a franchise that evolved in the beginning of the PlayStation consoles, but then it stopped at 2012 and when the next generation of consoles were announced. For me, it stopped when Armored Core 5 was released, because every Sony console except PS4 has an Armored Core game. Armored Core 2 on the PlayStation 2 was my very first Armored Core game, same time when Zoids was on Toonami. Yes, I was also aware of Gundam, Transformers, and Big O, but Zoids was different. It wasn't just missions, but it also had the arena competitive combat element, whether it's one-on-one or team versus team. However, MechWarrior 2 was the first game that got me into the mech fighting genre. Now back to the topic at hand. There should be an HD remake of the Armored Core trilogy. I'm talking about the very first Armored Core, Armored Core 1 along with Armored Core Project Phantasma and Master of the Arena. It's reasonable to have a remake for games that old, especially since they're 3 generations old. We're in the 8th generation of PS4 and Xbox One. Armored Core came out the 5th generation, same as the Final Fantasy VII remake coming out from the same number of generations. Another good remake is Black Mesa Source, which is a remake of the 17-year-old Half-Life game with new improved, realistic environments along with greater size and scale and everything else. Now remember, we want a remake, not a remaster, because you might as well resell the original games on PlayStation Network to play on PS3 and PS4, especially since emulators have proven to outperform the original consoles. I really want to play a remake of the Armored Core trilogy, because I've never played the first 3 games in my life. As I said, I played from Armored Core 2 and up. It should also appeal to old Armored Core fans, new Armored Core fans, and the 8th generation fans. So here are my ideas for FromSoftware of what to put in the Armored Core Trilogy HD. Make the combat control and movements similar to what Armored Core 1, 2, and 3 had. And I'm not talking about controls, I'm talking about the smooth movement mechanics in those games, or make them better. Do not make it like Armored Core 5, because when me and my best friend were playing it, the game felt jagged, choppy, and ridiculous. Allow us to use the controls from Armored Core 1 to Armored Core 4 and PC controls. For example, one analog stick to look around and the other for movement, which was my controls for Armored Core 4. I'm used to the Armored Core 2 control scheme, and lastly, if this is going on PC, basically the same controls for any FPS except the boosting, which is different when I play Armored Core 2 on my PC using mouse and keyboard. Speaking of which, since this is now a multi-platform franchise, make the Armored Core HD trilogy available for PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. My next idea is an interesting one, and I've had this idea for years now. When there's custom battles in arenas or versus mode, allow us to customize the weather and the time of day in the battlefield. Like I want to battle in some sort of metropolis, except I want to make it nighttime, so I go into the environment settings and set the time of day from day to night. I would also want to have the weather set from clear to light rain to give it more substance. That's a feature I would like to see. Speaking of time of day, I would also like to see the timeline mechanic that Last Raven had, when you would have a select number of missions available with the time of day that it takes place depending on where the mission takes place, and from the start of Armored Core all the way to Master of Arena if you can do that. Add more parts than what all Armored Core 1 games had, which means that the HD trilogy will have exclusive parts that the original games never had before, similar to PlayStation Portable versions of games had exclusive parts. Next, include an improved tuning system better than Armored Core 4. For example, allow us to tune the weapons and only allow tuning if the setup is complete. Which brings me to the next feature. Just like in Armored Core 4, include the schematic menu for different AC designs. For the color system, again make it better than Armored Core 4 Answer's color mechanic. Allow us to color everything, with many camouflage patterns and allowing us to place pictures on our crafts, including the weapons. Then, different perspective modes allow us to choose between first person and third person view, just like in Silent Line Armored Core. This next idea is small, but this one will give some persuasion of challenge to the players. Add a difficulty system for the missions like Armored Core 4, and include achievements for the game. About Human Plus, either have it available or balance the special abilities to be unlocked in the tuning system, which means allow us to use cannons on the move to some certain extent on the start of Armored Core HD Trilogy, just like how Armored Core 4 had the option to use cannons whether if you're standing still or mobile regardless of what legs you're using. And finally, this is optional, but I would love to have this feature return from Silent Line. Allow us to make our own AI versus ACs and arenas, and unlike Silent Line, make the AI training better. Let us make our own descriptions for the AI ACs, and especially let us select the arena that we want to put them in. In Silent Line Armored Core, it was very annoying that all of the AI ACs only fight in one battlefield. Allow us to choose a fixed arena when we create a new AIAC. It will also tell us to choose a fixed battlefield for each individual AIAC. And when someone tries to change the battlefield, the AI should reset because you're telling it to go to a different battlefield. So allow us to create our own arena opponents and be flexible with the creativity. Now I might have more ideas, but that's the most I'm going to give for this video. So FromSoftware, those are my ideas if you ever make an HD trilogy for Armored Core. Me and many other Armored Core fans would really like to play those games. So that is it for this video. If you fans want to share some of your ideas of what they should do for Armored Core Trilogy, go ahead. Anyway, this is the end for this video. To all of you good people, have an extraordinary, successful future.